Yo, yo, what is up? I know I'm late. I know that there is no chapter this week. I'm still on last chapter. I was on a work trip and I didn't have good signal, so I couldn't do any live reactions or anything of the sort. So now I'm finally getting to it, but I'm not spoiled. But I am tired. I was up late grinding Marvel Rivals because I was gone for like 2 weeks and I didn't get a chance to play. So I'm a little tired. But I needed to do this chapter. I needed to get this shit right because I heard it is good. And I also heard that there's going to be a lot to talk about. So I am going to make sure that I give this the time and dedication it deserves. Um, so that way I could um, really enjoy it. I think I'm getting a little bit beat up. Okay, good. Plus, I'm seeing Fantastic Four tonight, so I wanted to definitely read this. Sound is nasty. Yeah, I think I think it was picking up um, the channel. Um, so should be good now. How is this ending? Um, yeah, so I'm seeing Fantastic Four tonight, and I'm just super excited for that. So I'm seeing one of my super static. Should be effective. Hopefully. Nice. Hold up. Fiddle with this thing. It's bad, like really bad. Interesting. I'm gonna do that. Very good. Where's the feedback? It even has it when I'm not. Okay, got it. I think I think I got it. Whoa, whoa. Listen, I think I got it now, right? This probably sounds way crispier, way better. I think I know what happened. It was using the default mic on my laptop and not the old Elgato. So it should be good now. Listen, all right, I was living like a caveman, no internet. Okay. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Okay, back to it. So I heard this chapter is a banger and I am ready. Um, there's a lot, uh, there's a lot of stuff happening, um, in this chapter, and I heard that it is super good. So I need to jump into it. If you're new here, I'm gonna fuck this up. I always do. It is down. Hold on. In nope. In this corner. So you can follow along with me where I am in the chapter. I'm reading the official translation because it's been out almost for a week already as well. So I am gonna jump right into it, and it's going to hopefully be amazing. Okay, here we go. All right, we got this sweet color spread. Um, showing Frankie in a big old what's it called? Hot air balloon. Um, Chopper on a ladder. Not even really a ladder. It's like a bridge from one of the houses to the other. So then we got Robin, we got Zoro, Brooke, Sanji, Nami, Jinbei, and then we got one, two, three, four flying penguins. Interesting. And Usopp is on top of Luffy, holding on for dear life. Super cool illustration. I like it. Let's check out. Okay. Damn. Right back into it. Let's go. First page. A young Loki, just like with his helmet and everything. Young man, young goat. And it says, yeah, this is Elbaf, but my dad ain't here. He's on an expedition. And it says, "Are you puny humans? I've never are you are you puny humans? I've never seen your kind before. You really do scurry around." And then someone says, "Ha, oh, you're adorable." And it says, "Wait, did you say dad? Are you Harold's kid?" And yeesh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You probably don't give out that information. And then it says chapter 1155, the Rocks Pirates. And then Rock says, even on an expedition, you can still get in touch with him. What's your name? And he says, Loki. Okay, Loki, you're going to do as I say. Go back home right now and get someone to contact your old man. Here's the message you tell them to pass on. Loki is gravely wounded. Return to Elbaf at once. And Loki says, huh? Since when do I have to listen to what you humans have to say? Bro, I wouldn't talk back like that, but that's kind of crazy. Broker, what's up? Thank you for the welcome home. I am fucking happy to be here. So I can finally uh finally get to this chapter. I feel like everyone's been talking about it for a week and I'm behind. Loki says, plus, it's not like my dad would come back home just because I got hurt. And then he says, stop ordering me around, you weakling. And then uh, Rock's sword attacks were, were famous for blasting everything in sight like a gigantic hammer or cannonball.
Dang, you sound exhausted. Yeah, I am. You need to get some sleep. Dude, I was up late last night trying to catch up on some Marvel Rivals play. Like, I'm trying to get caught up. Time waits for no man. So Rox blasts Loki, like right in the chest. That's kind of crazy. The fact that he just, you know, just comes out swinging like that is crazy. Yeah, man, I literally woke up like 45, uh, 45 minutes ago ish. You still mailing? I don't know what that means. Maining Scarlet Witch. Oh, no. So I switched to Emma to get her Lord, and I got it last night actually. Um, but still haven't finished Scarlet Witch. I like gave up on her for a little bit because I was kind of bored with her play style. So I really enjoyed Emma. So I got her Lord, and then I'm hoping to finish Scarlet Witch and then start working on Magneto. Um, Damn, he really blasted him. Rock says, "Wow, he's got a weird laugh." Vo ha ha ha. There, what I just say? Loki's gone and gotten wounded. It says this man had crossed Harold's path. Mm, yeah. I'm disappointed that she's getting no good skins. Yeah. She needs to get her summer skin, her new Gooner skin. Um, Zach says chapter 1155 is greater than sleep. Apparently. So how did they cross paths? Oh shit! What is happening right now? At the Reverie, 1 year. It says five kings have been attacked and captured. It's an abduction. They were taken by a large man dressed in black. And it says the lives of kings are no threat to Mu. Mm, who's that sitting there? What the fuck is happening? I suppose not, but your holy land is in a panic. Who is that sitting there? They got a pistol there by Emu. Like, what the fuck is happening here? Is that the dude from God Valley? The one who has like the fucking like the deer head mask? That's interesting. It says, in a historical anomaly never repeated before or since, someone infiltrated the Chamber of Flowers at the very core of the Holy Land. What? Okay, also, Gunko is right there, right? Because she is the different colored eyes. That looks like Gunko to me. What the F is happening? And it says, the man described himself as a worshiper of David Jones. He did not do anything more than this, as he knew he could not. But before he departed, he left a warning. I will be back right here. Oh my gosh. What the fuck is happening? So you're telling me that this dude sitting here is Ross. He he got into Emu's chamber and was just like, "Hey yo, BT Dubs, like I'm coming back for this shit. I see that you're the king of the world. I'm coming back for it." And Gunko saw that. Damn. It says naturally, word of this incident never saw the light of day. Yeah, I figured. But as it happened, the other man infiltrated the Holy Land. Oh shit. My bad. Infiltrated the Holy Land at the same time. And all the dumb celestial dragons. Look at him. He's far bigger than a giant. And someone said, I desire him for a slave. And says, no, he should be killed and stuffed for display. And someone said, guards, protect your lieges. Dude, that's crazy. The fact, like, I mean, I get why the world government, like, I already knew, there's a good reason behind them striking Rox's name from the history. This is fucking history destroying behavior. Crazy. For me, it also makes the theory that BB is gonna go after Emu that much more plausible. Yeah, he's like, my daddy wanted this. It also kind of makes the same theory of like, the fact that there's a possibility that Rox is inside of Blackbeard, and that's how he knows there's a spot to gun for, and he's going through it differently than Rox did. He's going through government affiliation to the Reverie to the top spot. Rox just broke in. Yeah. And then we see Harold on fire. It says, hot, 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 fine, fine, the talks are off. I apologize for trespassing, but is this really necessary? And it says, don't let the king abductor get away. No, that wasn't me. The admiral's been defeated. His attacker went to the palace. Be wary. And then Rox is running and sees Harold and says, what is all of this hubbub about? Bring me the big one. And there's Harold, and it says, he must be the one who kidnapped the kings. I'm not going to be the fall guy. I'll seize him. And it says, a giant in the Holy Land. Is this guy lost or something? Yo. Also, the fact that Rox did this, like Dolo, like just rocking it solo, kind of makes me think that he has the Ope Ope no Mi even more, because the fact that this dude was able to just like get into these places, like that is law. Like he's able to shambles and get into, like, teleport himself wherever he needs to go. This is, full utilization of that, like, kind of lends to that theory. So, kind of tough. Right. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on. This is a double spread. What the fuck? So, okay, so Rox whips out his sword, and dude, Harold's sword is fucking huge. It's bigger than Rox by a mile. And so they clash and just conquers hockey, just leaking. It says this clash between strangers eradicated any sign of others for 5 kilometers around? Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Zach said Roger v. Whitebeard moment. Dude, yeah. 5 kilometers, that's bananas. Dude, the way that they are fighting is dope. It says, Wohahaha, name yourself. And he says, Barahaha, I am Harold. And he says, I'm Rocks. Aim at the town with the next blow. If they capture us, they'll turn you into a slave. And Harold's like, what? Why? And he's like, don't think, just do it. And oh man. This animated is gonna be crazy. The animators are just gonna be like grabbing that fucking dial and just man, that's crazy. So, yeah, page 10. All right. Which way is Elbaf? That's what Rox is saying. Oh no, that's what Harold's saying. And he said, the new world's that way. Vohaha, if you survive, let's meet again, Harold. And they jump off of the red line, it looks like. They just full send that shit. This is listen, since these rocks feats, I've been seeing people break out a blasphemous name for the king Gold Defrauder. That's crazy. Harold is still on fire while chasing with rocks. These two are so happy to clash. Yeah, they're just big chilling. But that's kind of crazy to call Goldie Roger a fraud. Insane work. Truly insane work. Um, because like what we need to realize is it looks like Rox here is older, right? He's probably in his prime. When God Valley happens, Roger is very young and that's like a pretty big difference. He looks like Ace. He doesn't even have his full beard yet. Like, that's a very young Goldie Roger that fights Rox. I mean, the power scaling on that, like Roger still goes and is, Roger still goes and does so much other stuff. He gets stronger. Like it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, this dude after Rocks passes still goes on to pirate for like what, another 30 years? So like I can't be doing that. People mad disrespectful. People are saying Rock's the real king, but he got beat. We don't know how, but he got beat. Roger never got beat, to what we know. Now I could eat those words once we get full God Valley incident, but from what we know, Roger didn't get beat. I thought they said Roger and Rox set off around the same time. That's how they're rivals because Roger knew of Rox before God Valley. But yeah, Rox looks so much older. Well, they can still be rivals and still be have set out at the same time without that. Because like look at, I think it's Aruj. Aruj is technically a Luffy rival. We haven't seen anything from him, but he's like I want to say he's like 40, some shit. Like You don't necessarily need to be the same age to set out at the same like just because you set out at the same time. I mean, even let's see. Sure. Yeah, Rouge is 47 in current story. Luffy is what? 19? You know, like it doesn't necessarily mean anything, you know. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a little choppy. It doesn't necessarily mean anything to say they set off at the same time because, you know, uh, just because they set off doesn't mean that they're comparable in age. I mean, look at Capone. Capone's old as fuck, and he's in the worst generation, you know? Bonnie. Bonnie's what? 13, 12, some shit like that, but she's in the worst generation. She's technically part of that, and yet she's also in it with some dude who's 47. So, I don't think that it really matters per se. It says, "Never. I don't consort with villains." And Rock says, "What? You jumped off?" That's funny. It says the Navy admiral that Rocks had just struck down perished by his wounds despite emergency measures. After his many crimes of the day, Rock's name was launched into infamy, and his deeds stunned the rest of the world. I notice it doesn't show the bounty. It just shows the wanted poster. Dead or alive, Rock's deeds are back. It says sometime later he attacked a ship laden with heavenly tributes en route to sacred Mary Joie. Not only that, he destroyed the gate of justice and fled once again. With this ship and money as an initial base to work from, Rocks dove into the pirating business. Interesting. We're getting like a flashback within a flashback within and someone else's flashback in that flashback. Crazy work. And it says his activities were always hostile towards the government, but his first target was actually another pirate ship. In the pirating world, there had long existed a famous and merciless game played between crews. No fucking shot. No fucking shot. This is insane. I'm losing my mind. The Davy back fight consisted of various competitions in which pirates gambled the fate of crewmates and flags. Rocks made good use of this game to assemble a very solid lineup for himself. At this point, his motley crew of miscreants flew no flag and says, "They've got someone amazing. You guys are going to be shocked." So I see it. Oh my God. You're telling me, you're telling me Foxy's art is truly just to 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 make it so that people understand that Rocks is like that. Like Foxy's whole arc is just to be like, yeah, so like Davy backfights exist. They're like these different stupid games, blah 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 blah. And they you get gamble crewmates and do all this crazy shit. Insane. And that was when they arrived at Elbaf. It says, "That's it." Crazy. And it says, "Arst Castle Elbaf. I hurried back as soon as I could, but you're already nearly healed up. What a relief." And it says, I know you're a very strong boy, Loki, but you should stay away from the underworld. Oh, hold up, hold up. This is a double spread. What is happening? It says, you're lucky you only fell from a cliff this time. There are plenty of other dangers that could befall you there. And Loki's like, I can't believe Dad actually came back. That was just a coincidence, right? He wouldn't come back to see me. And so Harold says, Rox, I've heard all about your exploits. What are you doing here? And Rox says, I've been dying to see you, pal. You should join me, Harold. The world government's not going to hear you out anyway. Didn't you learn that lesson last time? And he says, nonsense. The day I team up with a band of infamous rogues like you is the day our allies lose all faith in us. And hold on, who do we see here? This is kind of bananas looking. Okay, so we see obviously Shiki. I think the person in this big armor here and eating these giant grapes or whatever is I don't know if that's Silver's axe. I feel like it is because we saw a big dude similar like facial hair and stuff like that in God Valley. And then there's some gangster looking dude saying Jihaha, or maybe that's Shiki saying Jihaha, appreciate the feast. And then we get Whitebeard drinking, Stussy in the front. We get this really weird looking person that has like a weird pattern on their pants. Honestly, first glance, kind of looks like fucking Caribou. Like, like really hard. Like, looks like Caribou. I want to know who that is. But it looks like we haven't gotten Big Mom or Kaido yet on the crew or Captain John. So, or Gloriosa. Like, there's a few people here missing. And so Rock says, what? So you'd rather be ground beneath the world government's heel? I'm looking for a way to avoid that. We ought to be equals, every one of us. Now you're talking nonsense, Harold. Elbaf is the nation of almighty warriors. Anything you don't like, you can just smash to bits. Someone, oh, Stussy said, he's huge. And it's like, so that's the king of Elbaf. Interesting, interesting. Go back. It says, that's ancient history. Elbaf is changing. And Rock says, people's nature doesn't ever change. I know that fighting blood in your veins is bubbling over. And Whitebeard says, can't we at least eat in peace? And Harold says, if you people follow this man, only disaster awaits you. Oh shit, we're getting all their names. It says, follow this fool, jihaha. Don't make me laugh. We're all individuals. If Rox dies, it won't affect the rest of us in the least. Shiki, future golden lion, mobster. And then it says, that's true, but his plan is very appealing to me. We're set to make a killing. And it says, science robber, Miss Buckingham Stussy. And says, you know about Fullerled, that island of exiles? They call it Pirate Island. They ship out all the hardened criminals there that countries can't handle in their own prisons. Oh, that countries can't handle in their own prisons. It says, gangster of the West Blue, Don Marlon. Mm, And then it says it was supposed to be a deserted island without food, where the damned simply wait to die. It says pirate Edward Newgate, future Whitebeard. And it says, but in recent years they've survived and built up a settlement there. How do you think that happened? And it says, pirate guru Wang Ji, future commodore of Pirate Island. Okay, okay. He does still kind of look like Caribou. Very interesting. And it says, it turns out there's a gold lode under that island. When the criminal underworld found out, they rushed to help mine it, and the prisoners made themselves a fortune. The government seeing red. And it says, pirate smuggler Gonzu. And it says, that island's crawling with vicious brigands. Get anywhere near it, and they'll rob you blind. And it says, so we made a deal with the government. I says to them, if we get that island back, how much will you give us? And it says, and this is, if they're willing to pay us, sure, we'll go raid Pirate Island and split the treasure between us. But we ain't giving the government the island or the prisoners. And it says, I'm gonna rule over Full of Lead, and I'll get the idiots who live there to help me build a pirate's paradise. And he says, can't you just see the dumbfounded looks on the government and the Navy's faces? Oh, ha 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 ha. Crazy. Dude, Rox is fucking so interesting. Like, he says, this is just the prologue to my life. With that island as my base, I'll wipe out the Navy and bring the Holy Land to its knees. And in the end, I'll be the king of the world. Mm. And Harold says, you're making an enemy out of the entire world. It's too much to handle. And Rock says, go ahead and doubt me. Sooner or later, someone's going to do it. There's no authority in the world that lasts forever. Let's go, Harold. If we team up, we're unstoppable. And Loki said, uh, Harold says, save your breath. I'm a king. And says, you think I care? Let's go and take over the world. And Loki says, the world. And then the title card says, and the next thing Loki knew, his outlook on life had been saved. 4 years later, after Harold ignored repeated invitations, Rox finally carried out his plan. The formidable lineup that joined him caused the world to quake with terror. And then we see the Rox pirate emblem and it says, let's get going, boys. Interesting. Man, what a chapter. What a chapter. There's so much here. Truly. We got the introduction of some of the other rocks pirates that, we were unsure about. We didn't know about Don Marlin. We didn't know about what Wang Ji looked like, and I don't know who this Ganzui person is. Um, to me, he looked like Silver's ex. But again, but like all these double spreads and everything. And what's crazy is like the dude. Rox dresses and kind of looks like a mix between Blackbeard and Kid. Like, um, which is super interesting. Like all of this stuff, I would have loved to see how Rox um defeated the Admiral. That would have been interesting. But they're really holding on to the fact that they're trying to to kind of stop it from being like known what devil fruit he has. But he definitely has a sword. So you know people are gonna be like Miyog victim, Miyog victim. I'm over that. Um yeah, the fact that he just showed up to Marijois and made it to Emu is kind of crazy. And the fact that Emu didn't attack is actually kind of interesting to me. Why would he not attack? Or she? Did she know that she could take him? Like, did he know? Is that why he just came and gave a threat and was like, "Hey yo, I'm gonna beat that ass if you keep talking crazy." So very interesting. So the only people outside of the world government that know of Emu's existence, um, um, is uh the only people outside of it are technically Sabo and Rock. And then Rock's like they're the two people that have seen Emu and lived to tell about it that we know of. Um, pretty crazy. Winston said, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rox is just crossing his legs while chilling in the flower room. He's just chilling. Remember the one of the Gorse they said, the moment you saw Emu, your life, your fate was sealed." Yeah, I mean, they definitely were probably plotting from that point forward. It's interesting that the world government would make deals with rocks after the fact, like the whole full lead deal and all that other stuff. Very interesting. So, who knows? Did Emu just respect the aura that, that this dude is putting out? I don't know. But man, this chapter was crazy. I got so many thoughts. So many thoughts. Um, if you're still here, please like the stream. Please subscribe if you haven't. Um, and let me know what your thoughts are in the live chat. Uh, but man, bananas. All right, so let's go through it. We'll start at the beginning. I'll give my full rating and stuff like that because I feel like this is a chapter I'm gonna have to like sit with. I'm gonna have to digest it, you know. So let's go through it. All right, so we got initial Loki meeting Rocks. The fact that Loki's so defiant and Rox is like, "Bro, I need you to know I'm about that," and just destroys Loki. Now this man, mm, keep in mind, also just fell off of the sun realm. So Loki already fell from the very top of Elbaf, but then gets blasted by rocks too. That's pretty crazy. His durability must be insane. The fact that Rox just came in nonchalantly with a gun and was just like, "Don't worry." Like, and the fact that we see Gunko and the way she's dressed is very interesting. Now, this means that this isn't who I think it is. I thought that Gunko might have been. um, at God Valley, was the princess of God Valley at the time. So that means that that's out. But um, it still doesn't kill my theory. Winston says, I think Emu gave the order to steal the treasure of Hachinosu in order to lure rocks to God Valley. It looked like most of, if not all, the God's Knights were there. Yeah, I can agree with that. That makes sense. Um, the fact that he looked Emu right in the face and says, "I will be back right here." Um, the fact that the celestial dragons and stuff were trying to light fucking Harold on fire is fucking crazy. Um, and their conquerors clash. I would have loved to see them split the sky, but it does not look like they split the sky on this. So to me, you know, people want to scale. People want to, say like, oh, this clash is greater than Whitebeards and Rogers, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it may have knocked a lot of people out. It may have done a lot of damage, and stuff like that. But Whitebeard and Roger split the sky, you know, just busted that thing open. So to me, they're not using like it both advanced conquer coding attacks here, but it's still very impressive, still super impressive. Um, so that's amazing. Um, listen, also people were pointing out the sword in the flower room is not there. What if it's the rock sword and Emu keeps it as a demonic moment? Or are you gonna come back? You say, mm, that's true because his sword is definitely like a what is it called, like a rapier or something. Like it's got the whole hilt thing. At least that's what I see here. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's got like a handle to it. And the one in the throne room isn't there. Very interesting. Yo, if Blackbeard gets there and picks up that sword, that'd be crazy. Um, um, the fact that Rox and Harold kind of like team up and then they jump off of the Harold jumping off of the red line is actually really nuts. Um, the wanted poster for Roxy Zebek not showing the tight like how much it was is very interesting because to me it wouldn't really matter if it showed it because this is just his initial bounty. It's not what his bounty is at the end unless they went with that one for that picture. Um the Davy back fight thing is incredible. He has it looks like Shiki's wanted poster here. And then he's got a bunch of other ones, and like him doing all these things where he's like, they're on boats, and all of a sudden, boom, he blasts the person in the boat. And then it looks like there's some sort of like, cutting. He's cutting off someone's head, and then the boxing match. The boxing match goes crazy because that is a literal direct reference to the Foxy and Luffy thing for the Davy back fight. So again, we had surmised that this may have been a thing. A lot of people in the community have thought that the Rocks got us through Davy back fights, but now we just get confirmation of that. The you know him showing up and asking Harold to join him is very interesting. I like it. The way he acts, like I said, he he looks like if Kid and um Blackbeard had uh like like combined, they would look like um rocks. Like he's like fit too. Like not like BB, more like bulky like Kid. So, interesting stuff. The introduction of all the Rocks pirates basically being like, "Yeah, we really don't care about this guy. Like he's our captain kind of, but like not really. We're all just basically under him because of Davy back fights." Hmm. Yeah. And on top of that, like, we all have like a mutual goal type thing. Dax Sake mentioned Rocks doesn't have a Jolly Roger yet while com- competing in the Davy back fight. You can't steal the Jolly Roger if I lose. Rock's big brain the Davy back fight. Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, he seems so confident he wouldn't lose anyway. Yeah, but I like this. Him becoming king of the world, like him having that ambition and shit like that, like that's and just the obvious, toll on Loki from seeing and hearing all this. Just Oda just continues to impress every single week. Every single week. Every single week he drops a chapter. I go, this guy's a god amongst men. Um, wow, just fantastic. I mean, this might be a 10 out of 10 chapter. This to me feels like a 10 out of 10 chapter. It had so much, and the fact that I didn't get spoiled, last chapter might have been a 10 out of 10. Had I not gotten spoiled, this feels like a 10 out of 10 to me. All the lore, all of the, stuff that we got here, like this is incredible. This is incredible. Like just getting all of this information, like we got so many things confirmed. Like to me, they're having a Conquerors clash. They're both Conquerors confirmed. They didn't split the sky because they're not at that level, but they're confirmed Conquerors. You know, even all the way back in the beginning, we got it confirmed. Rock's a sword user. That's pretty cool. And how he got Harold to the actual place. You know, we got a crazy lore drop of rocks making it all the way to Emu. We got a crazy, like, for me, it killed one of my theories, that Gunko has been here, you know? Uh, that's really crazy stuff. And then just like the fact that Rocks just is like that dude and is just like, yo, I'm coming back for the top spot. Crazy work. Like the fact that him and Harold became kind of like buddies from clashing. Super cool. Um, that he got his crew through Davy back fights. Like these are crazy confirmations, you know? And just like the whole of his crew talking about their plan to take full lead, which we know he does, and takes over and basically starts his own pirate paradise like he wanted, but he wasn't just happy with having his own pirate paradise. He wanted the world. Like that's a crazy ambition to have, and just like this guy's just built like that. And but what's so crazy is, who was this guy before he showed up to Marijois? Because he basically made a name for himself all in one fell swoop. How did he get to Marie Joie? Was he a king prior? You know, was he just a rogue king from a nation that was just like, I'm not happy with just have being the king of a nation. I want to be the king of the world, and this is how I'm going to do it. Like, just crazy. This chapter is amazing. It is the 10 out of 10. I'm giving it to it. I don't give many 10 out of 10s. This is a 10 out of 10 chapter. This is fantastic. please, if you are here, please like the stream, please subscribe, do all that good stuff. And, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Love having conversation about One Piece. Winston says, Kaido, Big Mom, Captain John, Gil Baster. We might see them join the Rocks Pirates. Yeah. I mean, what it looks like down here, hold on. Hold up. So, what it seems like right down here is they went and they got Pirate Island and it, shook the world. And, you know, there's a good possibility that once they got Pirate Island, sorry, Amazon Lily, you know, they got Gloriosa, they got Kaido, they got Big Mom, they got, Gil Buster, they got Captain John. They could have all been just people on Pirate Island, or it could have been people that showed up to Pirate Island after it changed hands because they heard about like, different stuff that was happening and things like that. Like just bananas. Bananas and like in the best way. So good. I love it. This chapter was fantastic. It's given me a lot to think about, a lot to talk about with friends, and to see. I also got to see what other people are saying about it. Being off the grid has been a blessing, because I have not gotten spoiled and I haven't seen what other people are saying even about this chapter. So very interesting. Um, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate everyone that was in the chat. Zach, Broker, Winston, NYC Anime Nerd. Um, just thank you guys so much. Please like the stream if you can. Let me know what your thoughts are for this chapter in the comments. If this is after the fact. And I'm just super excited because I missed out on when it came out, then most likely, well, not most likely, we're getting another chapter this coming week. So we're gonna get 1156, and it's gonna be a banger again. I guarantee it. Like it looks like we're getting to a place where we're soon gonna. e- I don't know if we're gonna dwell on rocks. I hope we do. I hope we see King Harold seeing all of the stuff that Rox is doing, and we get to find out a little bit more what Harold is doing. Um, and I think that we're gonna be in this flashback probably for the at least bare minimum the next three chapters. Because usually Oda kind of releases in like threes, but things are kind of like hit or miss here and there. Um, so I don't know. All I know is I'm super excited for the next chapter because I want to know. And I think that probably all of August, yeah, all of August will probably be in Harold's flashback or Loki's flashback per se. And then I'm hoping that maybe September we start up um back with the main story. Maybe the first chapter of September or something like that. We're you know, finishing up Loki's backstory. But man, we've been eating good. And I think that there's no slow in sight. So I couldn't be happier, to be honest. But no, this is incredible. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much in the comments, everything. Just really appreciate it. If you like this type of content, please go to my link tree, follow me on all platforms. I will be more actively posting now that I'm back. Um, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for this. Tonight I'm going to see Fantastic Four, and I am super excited about that. Um, and you can catch me on NYC Anime Nerds stream during the weeks. I believe we do it. We try to do it on Wednesdays, around 5:30. So please try and tune into that. We do a lot of theory crafting and stuff like that. And with this week, there's going to be a ton. So Thank you guys so much as always, and I will see you guys literally this coming weekend, um, when this next chapter drops. So thank you guys. Jenna.